So I spent the weekend doing a little Christmas decorating, and I'll show you also a tour of my garden. So this morning I just got some fresh clementines from the store, and I am going to dry them. In fact, I have a few dried over there, but they were too big, I think. So I'm just slicing them and putting them in my dehydrator, which I haven't used in about 7 years. You can also do these in on a baking sheet in the oven. You just have to put the oven at like the very lowest setting. When I do the fruit on here, I put it at 135 degrees. So I don't know if your oven will go that low, but if it doesn't, that's okay. Just keep it really low and put it on, like, lower the rack down, and probably in an hour or two it'll be finished. Let me show you my finished ones over here. These are ones from yesterday, but I didn't do them correctly, so they didn't come out very good. And it was like some big orange, so I got the clementine, so they don't have the seeds, and they're a lot smaller to do. But I will also show you what I worked on over here. I am so excited. I have the little light on right now so you can see. I painted that's like a desk, I guess, little table or desk. It was this weird brown that had been for a very long time. I'm really not sure why. I had a whole set of this, and it was like this kind of a cream color yellow, and I painted them all brown, and I got rid of the other things, and this was the final one, and it just fits really nice here at the front door. So I actually spent the weekend, not only did that, but I painted the baseboards in here and cleaned really well. We had some, it's kind of nasty in here because the dogs eat here, and there's usually a lot of, I don't know. Anyway, I did paint the trim, so it's pretty good. And then I just looked around what I had in the yard. Decided I wanted to do like a natural theme here. I can't get back any further because the gate, so let me go back in the kitchen. I have like our dog gate here to keep the dogs out of the kitchen, so I have to stand behind the gate. But I wanted to do a natural, so I took everything down and just totally started over. And then I knew I had things I could trim, so I went out in the yard and also down the street and cut some greens. And I had those berries. No, I think I just got those at the Dollar General. But anyway, that plant there is from last year's that I potted up. There's 2 of them. They don't look that great. They're kind of crispy. I think I haven't been watering it quite the way I should have. But I literally just went in the backyard and got this branch. And I had some decorations from years ago when I had like what I called my little nature tree. And there were those little hearts, and the pine cones already had the raffia on them, so I just literally stuck it in there. And I had leftover Spanish moss that was sitting in the garage from another project, and I thought, oh, that might look really neat in the bottom of the jar, and also to hold that branch so it wouldn't move around. I was like, what can I put in there? I didn't want to put ornaments. I wanted to keep it very naturey. And then I like the little sign, which we normally had up there. Sometimes I put Christmas cards hanging on, and I might put a little greenery at the top, kind of swagged around. And then that wildflower thing is usually hanging at the front door outside. I brought it in, and I kind of was tired and didn't really finish, but I have a couple things there. And then I always have a big bag of pine cones. It's the same pine cones I've used for years. I save them and just keep them in the garage. And then I found, these are my mom's old skates from when she was a child, so back from the 50s and 60s, these skates. And the red bowls actually look okay here for the dogs. And then I decided to do something similar for, now this is not done by any means, and you probably can't see it real well. Let me turn on the lights. I spent most of the time trying to figure out what I was going to do for the, sorry, that was, I'm sure, giving you some whiplash there. But once I got the front done, then I realized I wanted to also kind of follow that naturey theme in here, and it's not done. That wreath in the middle is looking pretty scantily, but I decided to bring the little wreaths over, the little nature wreaths and the greenery, and then I got the reindeer at Dollar General, and then I knew I have a lot of little metal things, and so I just grabbed them, and I'm still working what I'm going to do here. I have a few more things, and I have these bells, which I think I had here last year as like a little garland I'm gonna hang up on there. And here's the other little tree from last year. So I'm just kind of still working. Last year I had a lot of the black and white, and I'm gonna still use it here as an accent, but I had a lot of black and white up on the mantle, and this year I decided to kind of maybe fade the black and white out just a little bit. But as you can see, I still have a little black and white. This is actually a table runner that I got, I think, on Amazon, and one side of it is all black and white, and the other has the burlap with the black and white. So I thought that was really neat. Just gives a little bit of that black and white color. This will probably be the last year that I use it. So anyway, the rest of the house is not finished, but I have this, and I'll show you outside. We worked all weekend on trying to get the screen door. Oh, it looks like it blew down. It's not done, but the screen door is in there. I'm gonna have to tell him that it fell. The screen door panel, because it's cold. But anyway, let me show you what we've got here. So we got the window box hung up. I'm so excited, and so I just am trying to make like a little Christmas potting shed look out here. So I dug up this tree from down the street. There's like a lot that has just a bunch of, it's like a walkway to the Dollar General anyway. And I grabbed my big pot here, like a big bucket, and decided to put it in it. I'll probably put some Spanish moss, I think, as like a top dressing down here, and then I might put some pine cones or something in that pot, unless I can find like a big white pot, or I may have a clay pot that I'll put in there. And here I just threw some of the extra things that I grabbed, and I'm gonna try to maybe get a green or brown cord instead of this orange one, because we don't have the electricity, of course, is not run here yet, so we have to kind of make do with it if I want to have lights. And I did get some cute lights that I want to put, but look how cute. So I bought this, looks like it's getting a little bit, there we go. I bought this window box back in May at IKEA, and so it's just been sitting here waiting. And yesterday I just cut all of there were a whole bunch of trees, like pine trees, that had been taken down that would look like they fell or something. And so I cut all this white pine, and it had these beautiful cones. And then this holly just came right from our backyard. And these just came from the little tree that's right here, which is not a little tree anymore. It's quite a large tree. So, and then these berries I got at the Dollar General. So, and I already had these ornaments. I just thought that would add a little something extra on the outside and, you know, give it a little oomph. And so it's still in a work in progress, but I'm super happy, and I'm not sure what's going on here. Hopefully this didn't fall, but we are working to get this panel for the door. It's been a nightmare to work on it. Ugh, it's actually very heavy here. So he's been making this panel so that it won't be cold out here, and we haven't got it attached yet, but it's almost there. I want to give you a little tour of what's going on in the garden, and I want to highlight these because this is something that blooms now in the middle of winter. And this is the Gunnera, I'm not sure how to say it, I think that's how you say it, Gunnera plant. And it's like a really kind of odd thing. And it's been here for a while, I will say. It was very small and it has grown. It's probably been here for 15 years. And each year around this time, it throws up these, I'm gonna show you here as it's just starting. Oh, the sun is right behind it, so hopefully you can see that. Like little, you know, things, pods, and then they turn into these beautiful flowers. I guess they're beautiful. They're kind of odd, but the bees are on them and they like them. And then what happens after these things bloom, and they're almost done, it looks like, is they become the next set of leaves. Oh, you can see there's a honeybee right on there in December. So, oh, there's two. So the honeybees obviously like it. It's very sweet. There's another honeybee over here, a couple of them. So that's great. They must have found them and they're coming around. Oh! He didn't like that. Anyway, so this thing has gotten quite tall. And last year I actually pruned up or trimmed up the bottom because it was all kind of old leaves. Now it looks like they've kind of brought out some new growth underneath, and I kind of trimmed it up. But it's a very interesting bush. I actually had two of them and the other one died, but this one has done really well. I do absolutely nothing to it. It's gotten quite large now, as you can see. But I thought that was really interesting. So these big white flowers come, and then after that, the leaves will just burst out from where those flowers were. So it's like it just keeps shooting up and shooting up to the next level. There are some down the street at the golf course, and they're a little bit taller than this even, so I think they can get pretty big. And it's just neat. They keep their leaves year round. I mean, they're a big waxy leaf, as you can see here. And they're just really kind of cool. It's Gunnera, I believe, is what it is. And I guess I'm kind of glad that only one of them lived, because it's so humongous. I don't know what I would do with more than one of them. But those are currently blooming. Okay, so what's going on out here is actually quite a bit. Now, I haven't really finished out here with what I'm doing with the decorating. I wanted to start inside and make sure to get that part done, but I have this wreath that I put up every year. Last year I had like little red berries. I don't know, this year I'm thinking I might just keep it kind of plain, but I really thought that thing was really cute, the little door there. And I just kind of arranged this with some of the leftover things from our tree. It's not really looking fantastic, but it's something. I'm trying to decide whether I need to take this thing down. I mean, I think it's all basically finished. I mean, there are still a few blooms on it. I was looking down here. Most of them are done. I mean, there may be a few that are gonna, still gonna come out. But I really can't decorate for Christmas if I have this thing, all over. The one on this side is much more manageable, and I'm sure it'll just be growing. But I may cut this down so that I have something. I don't know. Oh, it looks like these things all fell off. I was going to show you yesterday that my little camellia here was blooming, the tea camellia, but it looks like these flowers come off very easily. Like one little touch and the flowers are off. They seem to be all over the floor here. There's one of the beautiful flowers. It looks like there's one on here. It was just blooming quite a bit. Can you see the bloom? No, you cannot. Where is it? There it is. I'm like, where's the bloom? There they are. And they're supposed to bloom this time of year. They kind of bloomed and then they bloomed again. I think because it was a new plant, and we had also like a really weird, cold snap in September. That they kind of bloomed really early and then kind of lost their big bloom. Now it looks like these hollyhocks, these are the Watchmen, I have the little thing still sitting here, are doing pretty well. Something is like snacking on these, it looks like. But they are starting to get their second leaves. So I'm excited to have some hollyhocks. I planted them in the spring last year and they just died. So I'm hoping that we'll get something out of these. I had another row over here. Oh, it looks like the calendulas are coming up. I believe those are calendulas. There's a weed. These nasturtiums this is a nasturtium from the one I planted in February. I don't have any idea how this thing survived, other than I had right here that big hibiscus, and so it was totally like shaded, but that is left over from my original seeds from last year, and so I don't know what's going to happen. If it'll just keep blooming, it'll bloom again. I'm hoping it will. And this rose has been doing really well. I have a beautiful rose inside I took a picture of that came off here a gorgeous, smells like I've never smelled anything in my life. It smelled so strong. I'm going to save the petals to do in some crafts. But this shrub rose here is doing pretty nice, the knockout. The other one doesn't seem to be blooming, but this one is, maybe it gets a little bit more sun, is blooming its head off. So I'm going to keep that trimmed and keep it going. And my Thanksgiving mums had a really nice bloom, but the only thing is that they've bloomed at like different times, which has been so interesting. It's like these over here started real early, and then the ones over here are still coming out. As you can see, look, there are still buds, which I hope they will be coming out. I'm not sure why these are so slow in coming out, but it's kind of giving me an extra long bloom time. These started about a week before Thanksgiving. So we've had already 3 weeks of blooms, I want to say. And it looks like they're going to still go. Some of them are starting to be a little more spent over here. And I don't see any signs of frost anytime, though we are going to get a 35 degrees, it looks like, maybe in the next week, but everything here should still be fine. The alyssum is still going here, which it probably will unless it gets really cold. This thing is done here for the most part. Oh, the squirrel is running up the tree with some new stuff for a nest. The pineapple sage is done really great. It's just about done with its blooms, but they look really nice. The cigarette plant, this will just go until it turns, you know, black from the frost. My window boxes, I've got some white pansies that I'm going to put in there because I pulled out those pentas and just left the snapdragons, which are still blooming some and will continue to bloom. So behind there on the sides, I'm going to put the white pansies. It still looks good. Everything's, you know, that's the thing about this time of year, is that a lot of things are still blooming. I'm surprised how great this milkweed. I'm not sure what happens to this, if it just dies back and you cut it back. I've never grown it before, but look at it. It's still blooming here, though I haven't seen any butterflies around. That's still doing well. I cleaned up this bed quite a bit and pulled off the hyacinth bean vine that was attached to it. So now this sort of opens up this bottom part of the bed. I have a rosemary in there, which I'm afraid I've just about all but killed because it was smothered back there. So I'm gonna have to move it or get another one again. I just haven't had much luck. But I wanted to show you that I do have some strawberry plants and an actual strawberry on my strawberry plants here. They've just been blooming the entire time since I got these, on and off. I guess they're like the everbearing, where they just keep going. And I have some new seeds coming up. I don't even know what these are. I threw the seeds down, and I thought I had, I always think I'll remember what I'm going to put. They look like calendulas, or they're something, because they're also the same ones are over here, but they very well may be something else. And out here, I had some seeds, but they are not looking so great. Oh yeah, there's one. These are the Texas bluebonnet. There's one. It is coming up. I had a whole bunch of them. I'm probably going to be glad that not too many of them are going to make it, because I think they're going to get quite big. There's another one. They were all along here, and I don't know what's happened, if they just got dug up by the squirrels or whatever. It seemed like they germinated and then I've lost them. Oops, sorry about that. There's a couple down here though. This one here, and there's another one, and a few more over here on this side that came out. There's another one there. So there's several. I don't think I have any more seeds. And I'm not sure if I'm going to dig these pentas up. Last year I dug them all. I didn't dug them all up, but I dug some of them up and I overwintered them. They already look kind of shabby. So I don't know that I'm going to keep going with them. I have the seeds that I'm going to plant. But I will say, Oh, there's my white pansies that I got. They were on the half price rack at Lowe's, and I plan to pop them in today. But what I did get was another bloom of these mums, and these were the Food Lion mums that they gave me for free. They were already done blooming, or mostly done, and they were giving them away. So I came and put them in the garden. If you remember, I think I showed you. This is way back, like in September or October, probably September. So there's 4 of them, and they just all rebloomed, and they're a beautiful, beautiful color. So these are my Food Lion mums, and they will be thus known as the Food Lion mums. And not only that, that they were free. Ooh, that wind is cold. And even my little red salvia is still blooming. I even have some more black-eyed Susan, and hi kitty. A couple dahlias that have come out. This one looks like it's lost some of its leaves, but they're still blooming. Even the roses here. And again, these I pulled out because I was thinking of overwintering them. These are all the pentas that were in my window boxes. But if I'm going to keep them, I think they have to be planted in something because they're looking pretty shabby. And I don't know if I'm gonna go through the effort of it this year. They're already starting to brown up. A lot of the little seeds that I planted are coming up. These alyssum are fabulous. I mean, they've been going since early spring, still going, and they probably will overwinter. I'm just gonna get a whole bunch more, and just literally I just dumped seeds everywhere, and they have taken. They've been so great. And they just keep blooming. I mean, they'll go on and off. Oh, I even have a coneflower, and I can't believe it, but I still have a hydrangea flower on here. I don't know, that one is just, oh, and there's a nice honeybee there. These are the pentas that I overwintered. They're a little bit larger. As you can see, like there's lots of brown leaves. It doesn't like when it gets even just a little bit cold. I don't see much coming up for my delphiniums here. I put on some seeds. There may be a couple right here. I'm not even sure what they look like. I had gotten some half-off seeds too, so some of them may not germinate like they should, but I figured what the heck. Look at this, a coneflower just about to come back out, and there's another one over here. You never know, right? Things will just keep going. But I can see lots of little seeds from, I think, of the Queen Anne's lace. I have a feeling I'm gonna have a whole bunch of them all over the place. This is where I had some, and they're all mixed in over here. A bunch of little things are coming up. Some poppies I put here. And so I'm excited. I'm putting my seeds down a little earlier last year. Yep, there's some poppies that are coming. Some of these are just weeds and some of them are seeds, and it's sometimes hard to know what is what. But these are weeds. And some straw. It's the raspberry. I'll let the raspberry grow. Okay, so that's kind of what's happening here. I'm just hanging on. And things are still kind of looking pretty, and hopefully we won't get a frost before Christmas. There's nothing worse than like right before Christmas you get that frost, and then I have just a bunch of black plants out here and you have to trim everything down. So usually we don't get the frost before Christmas, and that's fine. Like then after in January we'll get it, and things will be cut back. I can see some snapdragons back there. So I believe I will have to cut this thing down, because otherwise it'll be a monster by next year for one thing, and it kind of is blocking now. I'm kind of sick of seeing it. So I'll have to hack that thing down, plant my white pansies in my mailbox, in my window boxes. And I still have this red crepe myrtle that I've got to plant in the backyard, but I kind of keep forgetting about it, so I'm going to put it out here on the sidewalk where I'll remember. And I think I'm finally stinkhorn free. But we dug up so many stinkhorn mushrooms. Oh my gosh, look at these begonias. I just noticed this was in the garage and I brought it outside. I'm gonna have to put this in the house. But look at the red begonias. I think there was one left. This thing is so huge. I tried to get this foxtail fern out and it was a nightmare, but I think I'll have to trim it up. This is the second year that I had it in this pot. And I just brought the pot in the house and then brought it back out. And there was one begonia and left, I think, or unless I replaced the begonia. I think I might have replaced and put a couple begonias, but this was the only one that survived. No doubt, there's no room. But aren't those begonias beautiful? God, I love those. Okay, so this is gonna have to go back in. It's gonna be 38 tonight, so I'll have to take a few of these things in. And hopefully the potting shed will be ready for the pentaseeds. We can just get the door up. It'll be warm enough out there for now to start the seeds.